Season 2-1 with a fantastic ERA.
And vying to win his 4th Cy Young Award, and he could do it this year. He led the National League in earned run average with a 2.49 mark. He's 2-0 against the Yankees. He beat the Yankees when he was with the Seattle Mariners in 1995 in the divisional series.
Around him defensively, there's only one change, and that's Danny Bautista out in center field tonight as Steve Finley, because Pettit's making the start for the Yankees, takes a seat on the bench. Otherwise, it's Gonzalez and Sanders flanking Danny Bautista, with Williams, Womack, Counsell, Grace on the infield. Damian Miller catching Randy Johnson. One thing Randy Johnson will do tonight is slow himself down. Something he is conscious of. He is trying to make sure that he doesn't rush his pitches to the plate. His pace will be slower than normal. This broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television as Randy Johnson makes his first World Series start. The first of the night to Knobloch. Strike one. Hitless last night, a .250 hitter during the regular season. Strike two.
93-mile-an-hour fastball. He has a very good slider. Randy Velarde on deck. He'll play first base tonight. You mentioned the slowing down of Randy Johnson. Nobody has helped Johnson more this year than Curt Schilling, his teammate.
One ball, two strikes. There's Curt Schilling. It's kind of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon with Roger Clemens at the top of the pyramid, with how Clemens has influenced so many involved in this series. A 1-2. Got it.
After 3 fastballs, the slider gets Knobloch. 372 strikeouts for Randy Johnson, 3rd all-time behind Nolan Ryan and Sandy Koufax in a year.
Brings in Randy Velarde. 20 out of 46 lifetime against Randy Johnson, a .435 average. And he has had some postseason success against Randy Johnson as Tino Martinez hangs over the railing in front of the Yankee dugout. Ball one. Velarde is the one who got the go-ahead RBI hit in the top of the 11th Game 5 of the Division Series in 1995 in Seattle, which set up the 2-run hit by Edgar Martinez in really what is still considered the most thrilling moment in Seattle Mariners baseball history. Not much of a swing. Randy Johnson. Mark Grace was pleased to get a 102-mile-an-hour fastball on the other end of that. 2 out.
2 check swings by the Yankees so far. One by Knobloch, who didn't make contact, and meet contact by Velarde. And there's that 102-mile-an-hour fastball to Grace. Might be his best fastball of the night.
So Velarde in there because of his history against Randy Johnson. And like we talked about last night, you can have had success against Randy Johnson or against Curt Schilling. But at this stage in each pitcher's career, these are different pitchers than these Yankees have faced in years gone by.
No question about it.
2 out, nobody on. Derek Jeter at the plate, batting in the number 3 spot. He is in a prolonged slump. With his work in the ALCS and his work last night, he is only 2 for his last 20. Two out, nobody on, no balls, 1 strike on Derek Jeter. That's foul. We talked about Roger Clemens a bit earlier. Clemens has influenced Schilling. Schilling has influenced Johnson. Clemens has influenced Andy Pettitte. And Pettitte will be on the mound tonight for the Yankees. Clemens will start game 3 in New York on Tuesday night. Oh, 2. The ball and 2 strikes. 97 miles per hour.
And it's deceptive because Randy Johnson is 6'10". He appears to release the ball and does release the ball a lot farther out than most pitchers. And for that reason, 97 seems like 107.
Two and 2. You can see 95 miles per hour at the top of your screen in the Fox box. The count 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out in the inning. We're in the top of the first. Nobody on base. Top left-hand corner of your screen, and we are just underway, no score. Knobloch struck out. Velarde bounced back to Johnson. And it's a 2-2 count on Jeter.
Randy Johnson, a very difficult pitcher to break out of a 2-for-20 slump. Derek Jeter only 2 for 17 against Seattle in the American League Championship Series. 0 for 3 last night. Got his hands full here.
Another 2-2 pitch. Foul tip, struck him out. And a perfect first inning for Randy Johnson. Lineup for the Arizona Diamondbacks brought to you by Budweiser. They lead it off with Tony Womack, the shortstop. Craig Counsell bats second at second. Then it's Luis Gonzalez hitting third. Reggie Sanders, the cleanup hitter. Danny Bautista is batting fifth with Matt Williams hitting sixth. The number 7 hitters, Mark Grace, Damian Miller, then Randy Johnson, who was 8 out of 80 swinging the bat during the regular season. And here's Andy Pettitte, a 15-game winner during the regular season. In the postseason, he's usually a little different story. This guy has been automatic. The Yankees have won 11 of his last 12 postseason starts. The Yankees are 17-5 when he has started a postseason game. And as we've mentioned, Tim, on the road in 3 World Series starts. He's 2-0 with an ERA of 0.
That's over 22 2/3 innings.
The 0-1 to Tony Womack. The bunt. Pettitte falling away from first. Good play to get him 1 out.
We have had 4 hitters hit tonight. We've had the ball travel about 60 feet. The check swing by Velarde, and now the bunt by Womack. Andy Pettitte off balance. And a fine throw to just get Tony Womack. Pettitte, a different pitcher, obviously, than Randy Johnson. Of course, every pitcher is. Andy Pettitte, for the most part, tries to make the hitter put the ball in play. Johnson tries to miss the bat.
When you look at the starting lineup for Bob Brenly's Diamondbacks, he starts it with 3 left-handed batters in the top 3 spots. This is a different Andy Pettitte against left-handed batters than he was, let's say, in 1996, 97, or 98.
That's because he's coming inside the left-handers more.
That's on the outside corner to Counsell, strike 1. Counsell homered in the first inning last night to tie the game 1-1. And then the Diamondbacks went on to score 8 more. Time called prior to the pitch. Like Clemens, just peeking out from under the bill of the cap. With that stare into his catcher Posada. And the 0-1 pitch. High heat, got it by him, 91 miles an hour. It's 0-2.
Andy Pettitte has even taken up the regimen of Roger Clemens, working out with Clemens in the offseason. His endurance this year, says Andy, has been better than any other time in his career. And
0-2. Counsell could not lay off The pitch is up and out of the strike zone, 2 out. And we give you a look at the Yankee defense. With Knobloch, Williams, and Spencer in the outfield, Brocious, Jeter, Soriano, and Velarde at first. Jorge Posada doing the catching for Andy Pettitte. So with 2 out, nobody on, the batter will be Luis Gonzalez. Strike 1, and Pettitte's throwing hard here in the first inning.
We have not seen a lot of healthy cuts up to that point. Gonzalez perhaps with the best swing of either side.
Gonzalez with that open stance closes in on the ball with a pitch. Takes a strike, and it's 0-2.
That was that inside fastball. He went up the ladder on Craig Counsell on the 0-2 pitch. Watch the check swing. 5 hitters, 3 check swings.
Now an 0-2 to Gonzalez. How about this start? 2 strikeouts for Johnson, 2 strikeouts for Pettitte. Second inning, game 2. No score.
Fox, presented by Budweiser, is brought to you by the people of United Airlines. We are united. By the Intel Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world. And by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
The 4, 5, and 6 hitters for New York: Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, and Shane Spencer against Randy Johnson, who had lost 7 consecutive postseason starts leading into the NLCS. But he won game 1. He won the clinching game 5 with 7 strong innings. And here he is starting game 2 after Curt Schilling shut down the Yankees for 7 innings last night. Each side went in order. Williams a hit, an RBI in last night's game. He takes high for ball 1. Not only a concerted effort, Tim, during the action for Randy Johnson during the half inning when he's pitching, but even warming up prior to the half inning.
That's true.
Randy Johnson is just taking his own sweet time before getting back up top and bringing another pitch.
A lot of deep breaths and another check swing by Yankee batters. 3 in the first inning, and now Bernie Williams to lead off the second.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Slider for a strike, and it's 1-2. We used to just be able to say fastball slider with Randy Johnson, but that split fingered pitch makes it tougher on you analysts.
Hasn't thrown it yet, but he mixes in about 10 or 12 a game.
Two strikeouts so far for Randy Johnson. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jorge Posada waits to hit next. 12th postseason start for Johnson, first in the World Series. And it's 2-2. Too far inside, full count.
Randy Johnson has hit 18 batters this year. It's part of his arsenal. You talk to hitters, they characterize him as terrifying, menacing, words like that. Nothing comfortable said about Randy Johnson by opposing hitters.
And a moth land on his uniform top.
Yeah, but it left in a hurry.
He brushed the moth off, and now his 3-2 pitch to Williams. Got him on away.
My goodness. Bernie Williams said no, it was not. A 3-2 slider. Williams probably looking for the fastball. Ball could have been low, but appeared to be high enough. 3 strikeouts now for Randy Johnson, and 1 check swing by Randy Velarde.
And Joe Torre is yelling out at Mark Hirschbeck, the home plate umpire, saying that ball was too low. 1 out, nobody on for Posada. Had a hit last night, hitting .343 in the postseason. Ball up and in from Randy Johnson. That look from a manager who has a 16-4 record during World Series play with this group. They lost the first 2 games back in '96 at home to Atlanta, then won the next 4. They ended up losing game 3 of last year's World Series to the Mets, and they lost here last night. That's it. That's too far outside. 2 balls and a strike.
Johnson wanted that fastball, showing his disgust. You can see Damian Miller sitting outside, and the pitch was outside. Good call by Mark Hirschbeck.
So a 2-ball, 1-strike count. 2-2. Shane Spencer next. And this crowd will crank it up, expecting to see strikeout number 4 on the night. Number 4.
In the first inning, this is what happened to Yankee hitters. Chuck Knobloch, check swing. Randy Velarde, check swing. Derek Jeter, check swing.
We've seen back-to-back strikeouts since then. 4 on the night for Randy Johnson, and Shane Spencer will dig in. Shane Spencer, who spent 8.5 years in the minor leagues before bursting onto the big league scene back in '98 with 8 September home runs and 10 down the stretch for that World Championship team. Gets a start against Randy Johnson, took a slider for a strike, and it's 0-1. To the third baseman, Williams gets the high hop, and Randy Johnson perfect through 2. Now it's Andy Pettit's turn to try to answer that. Bottom of the second in the desert, no score. It's getting to be that time of year.
Halloween only 3 days away.
Reggie Sanders will lead it off for Arizona in the bottom of the second. Andy Pettitte threw 8 pitches in the first inning. They were all strikes. Sanders last night 2 out of 3. And Pettitte looks like he's brought his good stuff here in the early going. Strike 1 on Reggie Sanders.
I think with both pitchers, both managers are thinking with the way they're throwing, both Pettitte and Johnson. If you do get somebody on with nobody out, play for 1 run. Normally you don't bunt early in the game, but I think Joe Torre and Bob Brenly are thinking about that right now if they get in that situation.
Andy Pettitte, his 23rd career postseason start. That's the first one out of the strike zone for the night. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Because of that cut fastball that's down and in to right-handed batters, the left side of the infield must be ready. That means Brocious and Jeter. Pettitte mixing his pitches better. We talked about it earlier, and he slams the door on the running game. 49 pickoffs since 1996, the most in the majors.
Cutter in on Sanders in the count 1-2.
Yeah, if you hit that ball well, that pitch right there, if you hit it well, you're going to ground it to the left side. Losada setting up inside. Sanders swings through it.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now Posada sets up away. And Pettitte misses away. 2-2. Danny Bautista waits on deck, then Matt Williams. So Andy Pettitte took care of the 3 left-handed batters in the first inning. Womack tried to bunt his way on. Pettitte made the play, and then strikeouts of both Counsell and Gonzalez. Now the first right-hander that Pettitte faces, and Sanders does ground it to the left side. Base hit. Reggie Sanders now 3 out of 4 in this World Series.
Sometimes it's because a hitter does not hit it hard that he gets to first. High chopper. Jeter had no choice, not with the fleet-footed Sanders. And now we'll see what Bob Brenly does with his base runners. You're not going to run off Pettit. Sanders with 14 stolen bases on the year, but Pettit with a devastating pickoff move.
Only 16 times during the regular season did opponents try to steal against Andy Pettit. Into right center field, off the bat of Batista and all the way to the wall. Sanders motoring around third. They bring him to the plate. Soriano's throw late, 1-0 Arizona.
Rifled into right center field by Batista. Chris Spire, the third base coach, who was interesting. He had his left hand holding Batista at second base and the right hand waving Sanders around. But because the throw was home, now look at Batista. Chris Spire had the left hand out and the right hand in that windmill motion. There was a play at third base, and Soriano opted to go there.
Now the infield will come in with Danny Batista at third and nobody out. Matt Williams at the plate. Runner holds. Brosius takes care of Williams, 1 away. So Danny Batista, 29-year-old outfielder who has bounced around in his career, Detroit, Atlanta, Florida, now Arizona. First full year in Arizona, gets his first World Series at bat and lines an RBI double, and that's what they're calling it, a double into right center field. Now it's Mark Grace. Infield still in, runner at third, 1 out.
I think that accentuates the point that Soriano did have a play on Batista had he opted to go to third base. But the throw home allowed Batista to go to third easily.
You're not going to get many chances to score. Bob Brenly knows that.
Send him.
Now a chance for another. It's up to the veteran Grace. Soriano juggles it, throws home, out for the second out of the inning. Alfonso Soriano, who was switched to second base late in spring training, playing in, took care of the ground ball, juggled it a bit, but made a strong throw for the out.
The reason the throw was strong is Soriano has a shortstop's arm at second base. He broke in as a shortstop and can afford to juggle a ball like this and still recover in time to get his man at home. So Joe Torre, because Randy Johnson is pitching, has had the infield in twice, and it has worked.
So now it's a runner at first, Grace, with 2 out. Damian Miller at the plate. Strike 1. Damian Miller last night had a couple of hits and RBI. His first RBI of this postseason. So Randy Johnson has a lead. The Diamondbacks right now missing an opportunity to add to that lead, and Damian Miller grounds to Brosius. The easy way to end the inning. So the Diamondbacks get 1, had a runner at third with nobody out. Williams, Grace could not bring him home after 2, 1-0 Arizona. Tonight, some of the best of NASCAR racing. Winston Cup drivers Dale Jarrett, pictured here. Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick are taking in the game, and we'll be back right here for the rest of the Winston Cup Tour Sunday, February 24th, when NASCAR on Fox returns live from Rockingham. That's Sunday, February 24th, right here on Fox. And now it's Alfonso Soriano. Made a good defensive play to keep it a 1-0 game. That's what it is. Arizona on top. It's Soriano, Brosius, and Pettit coming up. So far, no base runners for the Yankees, and not much in the way of contact. Strike one to Soriano.
Normally, Bob Brenly would not have sent the runner in from third with the infield in, but with the bottom of the order coming up, Brenly considered it a good chance, and it's good baseball to do that.
1 ball, 1 strike on Soriano. Reggie Sanders with a base hit, an infield hit, scoring on the RBI double by Batista. And we talked about this earlier in the postseason. Bob Brenly has said that Batista's kind of been his good luck charm. Every time he puts him in the lineup, he either makes a big catch, he makes a big throw, he gets a big hit. The way Randy Johnson is pitching, that hit, that run might stand up for a while. As the count goes to 3-1 on Alfonso Soriano.
This is the first time, the 7th hitter for the Yankees, that a hitter knows what's coming. Alfonso Soriano knows he's going to get the fastball right here.
He fouls it back. 94 miles per hour. And it's a full count. .372 strikeouts during the regular season. 4 tonight in the World Series, and now 5.
If he keeps throwing like this, nobody's going to get a hit. About as overpowering as you can be, and that's what we talked about earlier. 372 strikeouts, as Joe was saying, third behind Nolan Ryan, who struck out 383 in 73, and Sandy Koufax in 65.
Now it's Brocious, the number 8 hitter. Not hitting anything this postseason for the Yankees, only 139. And these could very well be his final days in the Yankee uniform. A free agent at the end of the season. Came into last night's game a career .391 hitter in World Series play. 98 World Series MVP, and the count 1-1.
That was an 86-mile-an-hour splitter, the first split finger fastball that Johnson has thrown, and did it ever dive out of the strike zone.
Bob Brenly will tell you, even if it doesn't dive, at least it acts as a changeup. The 1-1 at the end of the bat, strike 2. You get the feeling we might be digging into history books here before the end of the night.
We're talking between innings about the stuff he has shown so far.
Off the hands, a defensive swing, and the count still 1-2.
Randy using the glove, pointing to himself, saying, "My fault. That was a hanger." Really the worst pitch that Randy Johnson has thrown so far. Got under the slider.
A 1-0 Arizona lead. 1 out, nobody on here in the 3rd inning. 2 out. Used to be just fastball slider for Randy Johnson. Now it's fastball slider splitter. Here's Randy Johnson talking about the split fingered pitch.
It's great when I have a good slider and a good fastball on the same day, but some days I may only have a good fastball, my slider's just not quite there, so it's easy for a hitter to sit on my fastball and just let my slider go by. But now if I can throw my forkball or split or whatever they want to call it, and I can throw it for strikes, maybe throw it 5 or 6 times in a game, at least I have a hitter going back to the dugout saying, hey, he's throwing something different.
The unenviable task for Andy Pettitte. Throws left, bats left, has 1 career hit to his credit, matching up against Randy Johnson. The ball has not left the infield, and Johnson is One pitch away from strikeout number 7.
Terrifying stuff. My goodness.
Struck out the side. He got Soriano. He got Brocious. And he gets Pettit. Bottom of the third, 1-0 Arizona. Randy Johnson will lead it off. Few people know that when Randy Johnson pitched in Seattle, he made a little extra money on the side by getting to know, Tim, the fans that came to the Kingdome at that time to cheer for him. Did you know that?
I did.
Oh, okay. In the postseason, 0 for 8 during the regular season, 8 for 80. He throws left, he bats right. He is the anti-Eddie Goodell.
Let it suffice that he throws left.
He swings right.
Swings right. 8 for 80 on the season.
No balls, 2 strikes.
When you're Randy Johnson, you don't care about your hitting. You care about your at-bats. And usually, he gets 3 or 4 at-bats a game, which means he pitches deep into the game.
Exposes that left arm as he hangs over the plate, although it's protected by that thing on his elbow. He'll need a new bat next time. And he's 0 for 1. Randy Johnson in his days in Seattle. Little extra side
just
money.
getting away from him.
A lot of people wonder what pitchers do when they're not playing. I, for example, have a paper route. Obviously, it's not for the money. I guess I just like people.
The lovable Randy Johnson. Unless you're in the batter's box trying to get a hit against him. 1 out, nobody on here in the 3rd inning, and Tony Womack steps to the plate. Tried to bunt his way on his first time up, and Pettit made a good play off the mound to get him. Hitting only .214 in this postseason. Still has one of the more thrilling swings for the Diamondbacks in this tournament back in the division series. Game 5, the 9th inning flare into left center field to bring home Danny Batista and propel the Diamondbacks into the NLCS.
His only RBI in postseason.
A 1-1 on the outside corner, 1-2.
Right on the corner for Pettit.
On 1-2. Womack laid off. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on with Counsell on deck. Little pop up, Brocious just out of his reach. Take your pick. Who's more fierce? The matchup of tonight's game. Pettit peering out from under the bill of his cap, or does the look of Randy Johnson intimidate you more? I'm asking you.
I think both. I know that. I know. I think both.
It's not the glare of Johnson. It's him basically handing the ball to the catcher when he's on the mound. It's Pettit's stare, and it's Pettit's pitch that strikes out Womack. 2 gone.
Well, you saw 2 swings by Tony Womack, the foul ball, and now this one. And this is a result of Andy Pettit coming inside. Andy didn't do that the first 3 years he pitched, and a left-handed hitter has got to have the fear of a left-hander coming inside to be effective.
Counsell had some terrible swings against Pettit back in the first inning, eventually struck out. Pettit has had no trouble with the left-handed batters. Womack, Counsell, Gonzalez, Grace. The back-to-back right-handers got him in the second inning. A hit by Sanders, an infield hit, and an RBI double by Danny Batista into right center field. Took third on the throw to the plate. Here's an 0-1 to Craig Counsell. 0-2. The Yankees in the fourth inning will have the top of the order. Knobloch, Velarde, and Derek Jeter. If anybody gets on, Bernie Williams. Bennett has struck out 3. And is 0-2. He has made Counsell look bad tonight. 4 strikeouts, a perfect third inning for Andy Pettitte. Now the top of the order in the fourth. 1-0 Arizona.
On Fox is presented by Budweiser. Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
Fox tomorrow. Don't miss 2 of the most eagerly anticipated premieres of the year. From Emmy Award-winning David E. Kelley, it's the season premieres of Boston Public and Ally McBeal. It all starts tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on Fox. We go to the fourth inning, 1-0 Arizona, and we have already hit the history books and come up with a stat. As Randy Johnson brings it, Chuck Knobloch gets it in the air into left field. Down under it, and Gonzalez waits for it. 1 out. This is only the 3rd time in World Series history that a pitcher has had 7 strikeouts through 3 innings pitched. Bob Gibson in 1968. Game 1. El Duque for the Yankees in '99, Game 1.
Bob with the all-time record of 17 strikeouts against the Detroit Tigers in 1968.
1 out, nobody on for Velarde. Tapped one back to Johnson his first time up. So far in this postseason, 1 for 7. Spent 9 years with the Yankees before leaving after the '95 season. That '95 season, the Yankees got to the division series, but lost to Seattle. Randy Johnson on the mound. Johnson was 2-0 in that division series against the Yankees, and then Buck Showalter was finished. Joe Torre entered, and this postseason run started in 1996. So Velarde is back, hoping to get that World Series ring. Again, he's staring out at Randy Johnson, and the count here 3-0.
First time that Randy Johnson has run a 3-0 count to a Yankee hitter.
A 4-pitch walk, and the Yankees have their first base runner of the night.
Let me count the waves of the 7 strikeouts. Check swing to Knobloch. Jeter on a foul tip. Bernie Williams called 3rd strike. Posada swinging. Soriano swinging. Roches taking. Pettitte taking.
Major league record with his strikeout ratio, but right now, after striking out 7 in the first 3 innings, he got Knobloch on a fly ball to left, walked Velarde, and here's Jeter. And there's ball 1, 5 in a row out of the strike zone from Randy Johnson. Jeter struck out his first time, 2 of his last 21. The Yankees, when they get the opportunity, plan on running against Randy Johnson.
Joe Torre telling us before the game he's got to get somebody on first.
But he can't run from home plate.
No.
Got to get somebody on, and Velarde is on with a 1-out walk. To the left side, Womack to Counsell. 2 out. Velarde came in hot with that left foot up and no chance to turn 2.
Womack trying to get the ball out of the glove. And sometimes the second baseman becomes a first baseman with Counsell stretching off the bag, just like Mark Grace would do at first.
So now it's Jeter at first, and more of a running situation than it was with Velarde. Bernie Williams at the plate. Williams struck out looking on a pitch that he thought was low back in the second inning.
Randy Johnson does not have a good move to first base. It's very readable.
Strike one. We mentioned that opponents tried to steal 16 times against Andy Pettitte during the regular season. Over twice as many against Randy Johnson, 34 stolen base attempts. 1 ball, 1 strike. And then there's Derek Jeter, who I know you believe is, if not the best, one of the best base runners in the game.
Yeah, I think step for step, he's the best base runner in the game. He was tagged out, other than caught stealings last year, twice.
Too far inside, 2 balls and a strike on Williams.
In 160 games, tagged out at second, third, or home. His instincts are remarkable on the bases.
Is he running here with a count of 2-1?
He's on his own, says Joe Torre. If he gets a good jump, yes.
Not going, and strike 2. Not only not going, but rather stationary over at first base.
2 out, 2-2, not a good base running situation. Because if the next pitch is a ball, then Jeter runs automatically.
Yankees still looking for their first hit. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Bernie Williams with Jeter at first, 2 out. Runner goes, and the count stays 2-2.
There's some managers that will put a runner in motion like that. In my view, right there, it's not the running situation unless the runner at first gets a good jump. And Jeter had one then.
A Bazillion behind Jeter talking to him. Now back into the coaching box. Time called at the plate.
With Randy Johnson throwing as hard as he has been throwing, the Yankees' best chance for a long ball is something down in the strike zone, not up.
Jeter stays put. Ball 3 on Bernie Williams. They appealed down to first, and Dale Scott said that Williams held up.
Can't tell about the height from that shot, but it did have a corner, and now Mark Grace is playing behind Jeter at first base.
Bernie Williams with 16 career postseason home runs. 3-2. 2 Hopper to Womack. Inning over, and the Yankees still without a hit. They get their first base runner a walk, Strand there first, and we go to the bottom of the 4th. Here at Bank One Ballpark, 1-0, Diamondbacks. Gonzalez first up for Arizona here in the 4th inning, 1-0, Diamondbacks on top. On the RBI double by Batista back in the 2nd. Gonzalez, then Sanders, then Batista against Andy Pettitte. Did allow the run in the 2nd inning, but did a terrific job of pitching to limit it to a 1-run inning. Strike on the outside corner. Gonzalez hit .312 during the regular season against left-handed pitching. He is the number 3 hitter in this Arizona lineup. Doesn't matter who's on the mound. 1-1.
About 5 years ago, Andres Galarraga, who ended this season with the San Francisco Giants, opened his stance and had marvelous results. So has Luis Gonzalez.
1-2.
4 years ago, on the left, you can see Gonzalez not nearly as open with that right foot pointed toward first base as he is now.
2-2. A guy that if you asked Andres Galarraga who was the one who helped you open your stance, which led to Gonzalez doing it as well, as Don Baylor.
Yep.
Who was Andres' hitting coach in St. Louis and then his manager for those years in Colorado. 1 out. And Andy Pettitte rings up his 5th strikeout of the night.
Andy Pettitte's not throwing as hard as Randy Johnson, but almost as effectively. You can see the cut fastball on the outside part of the plate to get Gonzalez.
There's Laura Pettitte, Andy's wife, as Andy works with 1 out, nobody on here in the 4th inning. The next 2 guys responsible for the only offense of the night. Reggie Sanders with an infield hit, a bouncer to the left side that Jeter put in his pocket. And then Danny Batista with an RBI double into right center. That is all. And then Batista was standing at third with nobody out. Williams grounded out. Grace grounded into a fielder's choice and out at the plate. And Miller bounced out. Off the hands, a weak pop-up, and Velarde hauls it in, 2 out.
And once again, from Joe Torre's standpoint, from a strategic standpoint, it was the right thing to do. Torre realizing that the Yankees are not going to score a lot against Randy Johnson, so he pulled the infield in, and that saved at least 1 run.
With 2 out, nobody on, here's Batista. He came up with a big hit in the clinching Game 5 of the NLCS in Atlanta, and obviously has the only RBI tonight.
Last time up, a double to right center field. Scoring Reggie Sanders, the only run of the night.
A career .294 hitter against Andy Pettitte takes the ball down and in.
Normally the grounds crew will come out after the 5th inning and drag the infield. I don't think they need to do that tonight.
They can work in the on-deck circle, the area in front of the dugout, the area outside of first base where hitters turn and go back to the dugout. That's it. Will pop up behind the plate. It'll get out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Some lonely baselines tonight.
So the Yankees, when they started this postseason run in '96, whether it's been Maddox and Glavine or Glavine and Smoltz, any combination of the top 3 for Atlanta, or Kevin Brown and Sterling Hitchcock, or Hampton and Leiter, whatever 1-2 punch you want to talk about that the Yankees have had to face from '96 through 2001, it has never been like Schilling and Randy Johnson.
No. Not only with reputations and tradition, but pitching the best baseball of their careers.
For as good as the 2 were during the regular season and the postseason, they've been phenomenal. A 6-1 combined record with a 1.24 ERA in 4 complete games. Schilling has 3 of them. Combined 58 innings, 66 strikeouts. That's into tonight, and that's against the Cardinals, the Braves, and the Yankees last night. 1-2 pitch.
Comers.
Little pop up into right. Soriano. And the Diamondbacks go in order. All pitching so far tonight. 1 RBI. It belongs to Batista. 1-0 Diamondbacks after 4. Back after this from your local Fox station. against Johnson, who has struck out 7, walked 1, allowed no hits. Slider slips into the strike zone for strike 1.
Slipped and swept. That sweeping slider that starts off the plate away and breaks late.
1 ball, 1 strike on Posada, who struck out his first time up. 38-year-old left-hander Randy Johnson, following the 34-year-old Curt Schilling to the mound. He won game 1. Posada with the first hit of the night for the Yankees goes the other way, and New York has its leadoff man on. Prior to the game, hope you caught it, one of the great American artists, Ray Charles, sang "America the Beautiful," and his reaction to the crowd's reaction for his rendition. So touched by what he heard from the fans here in Phoenix. We'll hear a little more from Ray Charles in a moment. Right now, with the tying run on and nobody out in the 5th inning, it's Shane Spencer. Posada with a 2-step lead, back easily.
Not a running situation for the Yankees. Posada a slow runner at first base. Didn't want to hit and run against Randy Johnson anyway. It's too hard to put the ball in play on the ground.
Inside for ball 1. Soriano next. We talked in the open about the pitching situation for Arizona. Schilling in game 1, Johnson here in game 2, Brian Anderson in game 3. Good play by Miller to keep the ball at the plate. The plan is to throw Miguel Batista in game 4 unless the Diamondbacks are down 2-1, maybe even up 2-1. The only situation, at least in our opinion, and from talking to Curt Schilling, where Curt will not pitch is if Arizona's up 3-0.
And Bob Brenly is leaving that option open, obviously, but with Schilling throwing on only 102 pitches last night, if they're up 2-1, I think he starts on Wednesday night.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Spencer pounds it foul down the left field line. Shane was waiting for that pitch, got it, but pulled the trigger too soon.
Only the second predictable pitch that the Yankees have had to hit, because Johnson has been on top of all the hitters, and Spencer out in front pulls it foul.
So now it's 2-1.
When a hitter goes from 2-0 to 2-2, the advantage goes back to the pitcher.
One out. They're loving it here in Phoenix. Ain't that love on our MasterCard fan cam from Ray Charles.
When you sigh, I wanna sigh with you. When you cry, I wanna cry some too. Now ain't that love? Oh, ain't that love that I feel in my heart for you? When your friends turn their back on you, I'll be here.
Some of the families in attendance here tonight. Game 2. Now it's Soriano, and that's strike 1. Pitch bearing down and in on the right-handed hitter. Soriano struck out his first time. A hit by Posada, a strikeout of Shane Spencer, who at one point had the count in his favor, 2-0. Tying run at first, 1 out. Soriano behind on the count, 0-1. 0-2.
Ray Charles should have been don't get around much anymore the way Johnson's throwing.
Top of the 5th inning. Johnson in search of strikeout number 9. And Randy doing what we talked about early, slowing it down. Gets a new baseball. Takes his time between pitches. Now he's ready. Soriano with an awkward swing, but an effective swing to get a piece of that pitch. Still 0-2.
Sweeping slider off the plate. So Soriano fouled the fastball back to the right side and pulled the slider in off the plate to the left side.
Two out, strikeout number 9.
Up and away to Soriano. You have both sides of the plate to protect if you're a right-handed batter. With a ball coming in 95 miles an hour. The slider not that much slower.
Randy Johnson struck out 20 on May 8th here against Cincinnati. It was an 11-inning game. He was gone after 9 in an eventual 4-3 Arizona win. Brocious lifts one into left field. Gonzalez there. And we are halfway through game number 2 of the 2001 World Series. From the Diamondback side, so far a series dominated by Arizona pitching. Bottom of the 5th, 1-0 Diamondbacks. Welcome back to Phoenix. In the 70s at the start of tonight's game. Up in the 90s during the day. Yesterday, as we mentioned, here in the desert, a record high of 98 degrees. It's Sunday, October 28th. It's game 2 of the 2001 World Series, and it's Matt Williams leading off for Arizona in the bottom of the 5th. The Diamondbacks up 1-0.
Wow. Desert air, Joe. You'd think the ball would be carrying, but nobody knows. The Yankees have hit 2 balls out of the infield, both fly ball outs. And the Diamondbacks, meanwhile, have hit 1 ball out of the infield. That was a double to right center by Batista to drive in the only run of the game.
No balls, 1 strike on Matt Williams, who missed an RBI chance his first time up. Bounced out to third with a runner at third. This time he's on with a leadoff hit. 3rd hit of the night for Arizona.
A real hanger from Andy Pettitte, right around the letters, not a lot on it. And Matt Williams with a leadoff single here. Interesting situation with Grace up there batting 7th. I don't think Bob Brenly would opt for the bunt right here, not with the catcher and pitcher coming up. It's a good time to hit and run.
Grace takes a strike.
The thing about Pettitte, you don't want to get too far off of first base because of that move. So you have to wait. One of the side effects of his good move, he doesn't allow runners to get down on top of a second baseman or shortstop to get rid of the double play ball. Tiny lead.
Williams almost surprised that Pettitte threw over, and Williams was scrambling to get back.
There have been a lot of guys scrambling to get back to first since Andy Pettitte's rookie year in 1995. Best move in the game right there.
The 0-1 to Grace. Tried to hold up, could not. 0-2.
So with 2 strikes on Mark Grace, for the most part, unless it goes 3-2, you're not going to send the runner.
See from that replay that Mark Grace had his back foot actually out of the batter's box. Grace strikes out. And Andy Pettitte made 3 terrific pitches to get his 6th strikeout of the night.
Well, we have seen some funky swings tonight. These are major league hitters, folks, and they are not having good swings against both pitchers.
So now it's Damian Miller who's 0 for 1 with a pitcher Randy Johnson on deck as Pettitte tries to work around a leadoff hit by Matt Williams. And he throws over. Williams, who had a small lead his first time, now has, what do you give him, 7, 8-inch lead?
He was off about a foot when Andy Pettitte threw over there the last time.
One on, one out. Miller takes a strike over the outside corner.
Not only is the lead short, but you can see Matt Williams kind of leaning back toward first base. Almost softball rules with Andy Pettitte on the mound.
Pettitte making his 7th World Series start. Has a World Series high 6 strikeouts. We're only in the 5th inning. And he's on his way to another as he runs it to 0-2 on Damian Miller. The 0-2 to third, to second, to first. 5-4-3 double play to end the 5th inning. We go to the 6th. The Yankees will have Pettitte to start it. They trail 1-0.
Presented by Budweiser. Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
Right after the war, Army had 2 running backs, Blanchard and Davis, inside outside, and tonight Randy Johnson has been Mr. Outside, Mr. Inside. Inside to Soriano, then away, fouled off away, back inside, back away to Getty. That's what the Yankee hitters tonight have done. They've backed away from home plate. Johnson fanning 9 on the night.
Take a look at tonight's box score for the Yankees, brought to you by John Hancock. Chuck Knobloch 0 for 2 with 1 strikeout. We list the strikeouts. Soriano has struck out twice. The only hit belongs to Posada, a leadoff hit in the 5th inning. He never moved as Spencer and Soriano each struck out after the hit, and Brocious fly to left. Andy Pettitte struck out his first time, and he will try to at least make it look good starting the 6th inning against Randy Johnson. The bunt attempt. Matt Williams with a bare hand pick up and throw, 1 out. Good effort, good try by Pettitte, but Matt Williams equal to the task, 1 away.
Matt Williams very deliberate with this throw to first base, knowing that Andy Pettitte has not run the bases. So why hurry the throw? Bare hand pickup, nice play.
So Pettitte gave it an effort. Actually dropped down a terrific bunt.
He did, yeah.
It took a strong play from Williams for the first out in the 6th inning, and now Knobloch with Velarde to follow. Knobloch lifted one into left field his last time. He's tied up with that pitch, and he went around strike 1.
I think this was the forkball. It could have been the slider, but I think it was the splitter. Randy Johnson has thrown 4 or 5 splitters tonight. But because this ball goes down so wickedly, looked like a splitter.
Counted in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's what Kevin Kennedy referred to as the back leg slider in our pregame show tonight.
The Yankees have 1 hit, 1 walk. Knobloch with a 1-1 pitch, pops it up. Behind the plate, Damian Miller did not make the catch as it glanced off the screen. Bob Brenly's going to argue, but you could hear it. I could at least hear it through the headset as that ball came back, hit off the backstop, and therefore Miller trapped it.
Yeah, I think from Bob's view in the dugout, he saw Damian Miller catch the ball cleanly without realizing that it hit higher up on the screen. That's a clean catch right there. But as home plate umpire Mark Hirschbeck says, it hit the screen higher up.
So Brenly came out to argue. Damian Miller didn't argue at all.
Nope.
And the count's 1-2 on Chuck Knobloch. With 1 out, nobody on. Knobloch is the second out. It's the new show everyone's been talking about, the best damn sports show period on Fox Sports Net. Tomorrow night, 2-time NBA champion Shaquille O'Neal drops by the set. Mix it up with Tom Arnold, John Kruk, and the rest of the gang for what should be a fun show. For sports comedy, commentary, and updated scores and highlights, it's the best damn sports show period. Tomorrow night at 7:30 and 11:30 only on Fox Sports Net. With 2 out, nobody on, the batter is Randy Velarde. In the lineup because of his history of success against Randy Johnson, 20 of 46 coming in. He's 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. One ball, 1 strike. Velarde started the season in Texas, ended with the Yankees, picked up on the 31st of August. Here he is starting a World Series game, and Randy Johnson tries to make him his 10th strikeout victim.
171 games in his career. He has struck out double digits, and he's 1 strikeout away from making it 172.
Two balls, 2 strikes. 2 out, nobody on. Talk about Tom Arnold. There he is with a Yankee hat on. Watching as Randy Johnson looks for number 10. Velarde to third. Matt Williams. Throw perfect. And Randy Johnson has been awfully close to perfect here tonight. A walk, a hit against him. 9 strikeouts. So far a shutout. Bottom of the 6th inning, 1-0 Arizona.
In and out. Good.
Johnson first up for Arizona. Bottom of the 6th inning, 1-0 Diamondbacks. Johnson broke his back, grounded out to short. His first time up. It's out of play for strike 1. Johnson has got a little better every season since joining the National League. Traded to the Houston Astros from Seattle July 31st of 1998. Carlos Guillen, John Halama, and Freddie Garcia going the other way, and he signed with Arizona prior to the '99 season. He's won the last 2 National League Cy Young Awards, and he has one of the most awkward swings in the history of organized baseball for strike 2.
I think even Randy would laugh at that one.
0-2 the count. One away. I believe the Colorado Rockies, the organization that started this tradition, and it has become tradition in Colorado, and it is with other teams around baseball, a Little League field named after Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson putting money into that Little League field, and that's him signing autographs and being there at the opening of that Little League ball field. Jerry McMorris, Bob Gebhardt, the general manager with Colorado at the time. One Colorado Rocky after another put money into Little League fields, and now more teams are doing that across baseball. As Womack is jammed and Brocious makes the play to his left, 2 out. How about the box score for the Arizona Diamondbacks? It's brought to you tonight by John Hancock, and while we showed you the Yankees, not a lot of hits there, not a lot of hits here. Reggie Sanders, Danny Bautista, Matt Williams with the only 3 hits. Bautista with an RBI double back in the 2nd inning for the only run of the night. Otherwise, offers up and down the lineup. And another shrewd move by Bob Brenly. A typical Torrey type move, giving Bautista the start, a rare start. It's a left-hander Pettit, and that has paid off.
Bautista in for Steve Finley. Steve is sitting tonight. Big hit of the game, and the best hit ball in the game.
On 0-1, Counsell set up again. He's already struck out twice.
It just tells you something about how well both guys have been pitching. As you look at Counsell, who has not centered a ball all night, nor had many hitters off Andy Pettit or Randy Johnson. A lot of balls hit off the handle. A lot of balls swung through off the end of the bat.
Look at that ratio.
Man.
48-9 strikes to balls, and now the 0-2. Worth it there on 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So 5 out of 6. Every 5 out of 6 pitches Pettit has thrown has been a strike.
2 singles and a double allowed, no walks, 7 strikeouts. 2-2. The 3 left-handers at the top of the lineup against Andy Pettit. 0 for 7. For 8. Counsell grounds out. First time he's put the ball in play, and we go to the 7th inning. Randy Johnson back to the hill with Jeter, Williams, Posada coming up. Back after this from your local Fox station.
World Series on Fox is presented by Budweiser with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
There have been a grand total of 5 balls hit out of the infield tonight as we move to the 7th inning of Game 2. The Yankees down 1-0 trail Arizona, and Randy Johnson 1-0 as Jeter leads it off.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks have 2 base hits out of the infield, and the Yankees have 2 outs, fly outs, and the only hit by Posada. Remarkable.
First pitch of the 7th inning. Jeter up there ready to swing. Got a pitch up and out over the plate, fouled it back, strike 1. Jeter has struck out tonight, bounced into a force out. Williams and Posada will follow. Randy Johnson gave up 19 home runs during the regular season. He's given up a couple in the postseason. 1 to Julio Franco and 1 to Albert Pujols, the rookie for St. Louis, in Game 2 of the division series.
And Joe, we talked about Derek Jeter earlier. If he gets a ball down, that's the ball. That's his home run pitch. Down and in.
That caught the corner, not according to Jeter, in the count 0-2.
This pitch belt high on the inside corner. Johnson still looking for strikeout number 10.
Jeter is jammed, and Williams gets a tricky hop, makes the play. 1 out. With Bernie Williams coming up, we ask you to go to MLB.com to bid on a special autographed and game-used items currently up for auction to benefit the Disaster Relief Fund. MLB.com. 1 out, bases empty, and Bernie Williams 0 for 2 steps in. Saying a hitter is 0 for anything in the Yankee lineup is redundant, with the exception of Jorge Posada, who has the only Yankee hit, a leadoff single in the 5th inning. Slider misses up and away. Ball 1 to Williams. Bernie Williams, 26 home runs during the regular season, 3 this postseason, and 16 in his postseason career. Just pounding the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The biggest home run for Bernie Williams this postseason was the home run off Arthur Rhodes of Seattle to tie it. That was the same game that Alfonso Soriano hit the 2-run home run to win it for the Yankees. Game 4 of the ALCS.
Too low, 2 balls and a strike. Randy Velarde hitless tonight. Yankees are stocked from the left side with their bench tonight, with O'Neill, Martinez, and Justice. Randy Johnson is not slowing down with 1 out here in the 7th inning. 2 balls and a strike on Bernie Williams. 2-2. And Williams hot about that call.
Williams called out his first time up on a similar pitch. That was certainly high enough.
Only the 84th pitch of the night coming from Randy Johnson.
Not only the velocity, but the quality of the pitches, the location, extraordinary.
To third, Williams to his left. 2 out.
Right-handed lineup of the Yankees. Matt Williams has been very busy, the busiest guy on the field other than the pitchers and the catchers. 5 assists for Matt Williams this evening. Bob Brenly not guarding the line in that situation, and Randy Johnson gives you that luxury. He throws the ball so hard that few right-handers can pull him down the line.
Posada now with 2 out, nobody on. Jorge, the only hit for the Yankees, a leadoff hit in the 5th. Slider for a strike. Bernie Williams over in the Yankee dugout just tossed his batting gloves out onto the field. Lee Mazzilli just flipped them back in there. So Williams still upset about that strike 2 call. The 0-1 pitch. Another ground ball to the left side. Womack. Another 1-2-3 inning. Randy Johnson, sensational through 7. Tonight's game is being seen live around the world by U.S. servicemen and women, including those of the USS Enterprise in the North Arabian Sea. Thanks to the American Forces Radio and Television Service, all of America salutes you and appreciates what you do for our country. Now let's go to public address announcer Jeff Munn. Fans, please remember Radio Shack is a collection site for the September 11 Fund, benefiting survivors, victims, families, and rescue personnel. The September 11 Fund is a collaboration of the United Way, the New York Community Trust, and the Council of Foundations. As the heart of the order will bat for Arizona, Luis Gonzalez, Reggie Sanders, and Danny Batista. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters against Andy Pettitte, who is pitching in the shadow of Randy Johnson and throwing a terrific game. 1-0 Arizona, and a breaking ball stays inside, ball 1. The 6'10" shadow of Randy Johnson is enveloping the 6'5" shadow of Andy Pettitte. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the criticisms of low-scoring ball games that they're boring, but the pitchers are so dominant tonight. This has taken on the character of a high-scoring game.
On the outside corner, 1 and 2.
To reiterate your point, only 5 balls hit out of the infield by both teams, and here we are in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Gonzalez fouls it out of play. Last inning, with Craig Counsell at the plate, the count was 0-2 from Andy Pettitte. During that stretch, he had thrown 17 consecutive strikes. And it just shows you how good his stuff is for pitchers that are on the plate all night, that he has allowed only 1 run on 3 hits. Meanwhile, the Yankees, no runs on 1 hit. Only 12 pitches out of the strike zone all night. And Gonzalez is hit by the pitch. Caught him on the hand of the wrist. And Gonzalez, we already talked about how he starts with that open stance and kind of strides into the pitch. Literally walked right into that one.
We also talked about Andy Pettitte. The reason he's been successful against left-handed hitters this year compared to other years, he's been coming inside. Ouch. Left wrist. Wow.
Now they're looking at him. Bob Brenly trots out, the trainer out there. The first base coach, Eddie Rodriguez, is there. And that ball hit his wrist. You could hear it clearly. So looking at the outside of the left wrist of Luis Gonzalez. Here's a guy, Gonzalez, who had 31 home runs last year. He had 57 home runs this year. He homered in last night's game to put Arizona on top for good. And fans here, Bob Brenly and every Diamondback, breathing a sigh of relief as you look at what Gonzalez has done over the years. A guy who was traded here from Detroit for Kareem Garcia, along with coming from Detroit to Arizona, $500,000 cash just to make the deal happen. And he is getting better and better. Reggie Sanders with Reggie Jackson watching from the seats. They chant Reggie, Reggie here in Arizona as Sanders digs in, 1 on, nobody out.
I don't think Bob Brenly would be bunting here either.
Gonzalez able to get back with 1 step.
Andy Pettitte trying to find out if Reggie Sanders is bunting. Reggie, a very good low ball hitter. Pettitte has to keep the ball down to be effective. Reggie Sanders 1 for 2 on the night. He scored the only run of the game. I think all things point toward swinging the bat in this situation.
That misses, ball 1. It's been a fluid lineup for Bob Brenly, in that the cleanup hitter has been one of 4 different players during the NLCS. It was either Reggie Sanders, Matt Williams, Steve Finley, or Batista. It's Sanders tonight, as it was last night, with Batista in the lineup batting 5th. Atypical that a team that would play this deep into the postseason would have a changing cleanup hitter from game to game.
That's an interesting thought, Joe. 4 different cleanup hitters in the postseason. You would think somebody has established himself in that spot over the course of the season, but not so for the Diamondbacks.
One on, nobody out, 2 balls, no strikes. To third. Brocious had trouble getting it out of his glove. High throw and safe as Sanders 1-on-1 out.
Brocious upset, knowing that that ball was hit crisply enough to turn the double play. But that little bobble momentarily. And Soriano's throw is high. Credit Luis Gonzalez with a hard slide, forcing the throw up. There's the bobble. And watch the slide by Gonzalez. That forces the high throw, makes Velarde jump, and Sanders is safe.
So it's 1-on-1 out as the Yankees miss a chance to turn a double play after a night last night that was atypical Yankees in the postseason. Committing the 2 errors, allowing 5 unearned runs. Not playing the same type baseball that we are accustomed to seeing from the Yankees late in October.
Misplays come in many disguises defensively. No error given on that play, but clearly Brocious turns that double play more often than not.
Pettit on the mound with help in the bullpen if he needs it. Bautista took one too far inside, ball 1.
One more time, the ball hit very hard to Brocious. Fumble. Soriano, hard slide by Gonzalez. And that brings Velarde off the bag, and Sanders beats a play that the Yankees normally turn for 2.
A typical running situation with this combination, and Sanders takes off on the pitch. But because of the move of Andy Pettit, Sanders with a late break, and that was more in the variety in the category of a hit and run as opposed to a stolen base.
Oh, sure. Only the second time tonight that either team has tried to run. Derek Jeter did on a 2-2 count in the 4th inning. Good time to put it on back-to-back. See if Brenly does that.
Does not. Batista's now in the hole, 1-2. You got Batista up now, Matt Williams on deck. And Ramiro Mendoza getting loose for the Yankees out in their bullpen.
Joe, the reason I said that was because Andy Pettit has thrown so many strikes tonight. That's one of the prime components of a hit and run play. And with only 13 balls, you also have to have a hitter that makes contact. But of course, with 2 strikes, unless it goes to 3-2, Sanders won't be running.
Check on Sanders. As hard as it is for the base runner, Reggie Sanders, to read the move, here's Randy Velarde, not typically a first baseman, who's got to read that move, pick up the throw, and try to apply the tag. Not easy for a guy who doesn't play a lot of first base.
Yeah, if you're Randy, you're saying, pick him off, not me.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Sanders not running, and Batista grounds it foul. Oh, the guy had his chance for a World Series souvenir, and he whiffed.
Forlorn also. And here's that chance Joe was talking about. And his glove on. Security guard saying the same thing. You bring the glove and then you don't make the play. I can't help you.
1 ball, 2 strikes still on Batista. Up the middle, off Pettit. Too short, base hit. And time to check on the 29-year-old left-hander.
The next to last start of the season, the regular season, Ben Grieve of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays hit Andy Pettit on the left forearm. A lot of hitters hit the ball back through the box against Pettit. It appeared that it was the right knee, right above the right knee, And the Yankees are hopeful that it's muscle, not bone, and it appeared to be.
So a visit to check on his well-being. Now it's Matt Williams at the plate with 2 on, 1 out. You go earlier in the year, there's September 26th, and that's Ben Grieve. Pettit had to leave that start after getting hit right above the pitching elbow. He ended up making one more start against Tampa Bay at the end of the season, worked well, and was ready for the division series. In fact, pitched well in Game 2 of the division series, but was matched up with Tim Hudson and lost 2-0. Won twice in the ALCS, trailing here in the World Series. Matt Williams takes a strike. Runners on at first and second, 1 out. Reggie Sanders, Danny Batista, the same 2 responsible for the only run of the night. Remember the missed chance on the double play ball hit by Reggie Sanders. See if that comes back to haunt the Yankees. It does. Goodbye, Matt Williams, 3-run homer, 4-0 Arizona. Blaming on Rio Williams as Matt gets his first of this postseason.
That movie made in 1984. If it were made today, it'd be Blame It on Pettit.
They were booing him in the division series. Now they're standing for him in the World Series.
Man. That was a cut fastball, the same as the first pitch. Up a little bit, and did he ever know it? Crushed into left field.
Now Grace grounds to second. 2 out in the inning.
The first pitch to Matt Williams. Or the home run ball.
A night of so many terrific pitches from Pettit. He flips a mistake to the plate, and Matt Williams was waiting for it. Damian Miller now with 2 out, nobody on, the 0-1. 0-2. Getting ready to say prior to that pitch to Matt Williams, they went out to check on Pettit to see if he was okay after he was hit. And the ball back up the middle by Batista. Miller strikes out. They had Ramiro Mendoza ready in the bullpen with a right-handed Williams coming up. They stayed with Pettit. And Matt Williams took him out of the park. With that, Randy Johnson and the Arizona Diamondbacks have a 4-0 lead as we go to the 8th. Brought to you by Pepsi. The 3-run bottom of the 7th inning on the home run by Matt Williams, his 3rd in World Series play. Matchup of Randy Johnson, Andy Pettit. So good for Johnson and Pettit into the 7th inning. When it fell apart on the home run by Matt Williams, and Batista at the bottom of that list has been a big contributor here tonight for Arizona. So big that he's finished for the night, and Steve Finley takes over in center field. Adding to the defense behind Randy Johnson as Spencer takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Soriano and Brocious will follow. On the inside corner, strike 2. To the right side and through. A base hit. Spencer on to start the 8th.
Let's start.
A clunker by Shane Spencer. Jam with the slider, and he fights it off between first and second. Only the 3rd Yankee base runner of the night.
So Spencer's aboard and Soriano will bat. The rookie has struck out twice. It's in the 3rd, once in the 5th. And Miller, a good play to keep that at the plate. Got a look at Young-Hun Kim getting loose for Arizona out in their bullpen. In case the Yankees start putting together a rally here in the 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike on Soriano.
But as you see with Soriano fouling the ball off the other way, that's a good sign for Bob Brenly. Scott Brosius on deck. Soriano still can't catch up to the fastball.
Only 92 pitches thrown by Randy Johnson, which is nothing for him. Base hit Soriano, and the Yankees have put their first 2 on here in the 8th. So 2 on with nobody out, and Brosius coming up.
Fastball lowered about mid-thigh high, hammered into left field. That's the best ball the Yankees have hit tonight. So Bob Brenly seeing Soriano not catch up to the high fastball and catching up to that thigh-high heater inside as Kim continues to warm.
And remember, as Kim is getting loose for Arizona in their bullpen, the Yankees have Paul O'Neill, Tino Martinez, and David Justice available on their bench.
That's why Luis Sojo is on the on-deck circle as a decoy. Joe Torre would love, if Scott Brosius gets on, Joe Torre would love to see Kim come in the game. I don't think Brenly's going to bite.
Brosius checked it, ball 1.
Sweeping slider, he held up.
A leadoff hit by Spencer, followed by a hit by Soriano. One ball, 1 strike on Brosius. So the Yankees had 1 hit through 7 innings and put back-to-back hits together here in the 8th. For the first time, the Yankees have 2 on in 1 inning. Off the end of the bat right side, and that will get out of play for strike 2.
Randy Johnson, a pitcher that takes a lot of pride in not only starting, but also stopping his games. 79 complete games for his career.
Brosius 1 out of 5 in this World Series. A .391 career hitter in World Series play coming into last night's game. Set up here at a ball and 2 strikes. One out. Lisa Johnson applauding her husband as Scott Brosius lost his temper after being rung up on this pitch on his way back to the dugout.
Right on the corner. And once again, Johnson not only throwing hard, but his location has been near perfect.
Randy Johnson gets a visit from Bob Welch, his pitching coach. Here is Randy talking about his desire every time he takes the ball to go all 9.
One common bond that myself and Kurt both have is we take a great deal of pride when we get the ball on that 5th day. We've mentally and physically prepared ourselves to go 9 innings. And in order to do that, a lot of preparation has to go into that. But we feel like we haven't quite done our job if we haven't gone 9 innings. I mean, you got position players that in 162 games are playing 140, 150 games. Why can't a pitcher go out there and pitch 9 innings? Well, it doesn't work that way, but I take a great deal of pride in doing that, in finishing when I start.
He's in the 8th inning here tonight, pitching with 2 on, 1 out, and pitching with a 4-run lead in the 8th. And Brocious is still yelling out at Mark Hirschbeck, the home plate umpire. Here's Luis Sojo with only his 2nd at bat of the postseason. He's been a good luck charm for Joe Torre over these postseason years, including the game-winning hit in Game 5 of last year's World Series at Shea Stadium. Batting against Randy Johnson and now behind on the count 0-1.
3 game-winning hits this year, even though that is not an official statistic anymore. Sojo does not usually get around on a hard slider or fastball like he did pulling that ball toward the Diamondback dugout.
Luis Sojo is up for the 2nd time in this postseason. You go back to last year, the Game 5 in the end World Series winning hit. Getting Al Leiter, and these are all the game-winning hits this season that Sojo has put together for Joe Torre, and it is the reason that he is active and on the roster. Bobby Valentine, the Mets manager, part of the Roberto Clemente Award presentation to the city of New York prior to tonight's game. Watching as Sojo waits for an 0-2 pitch. For Luis, only his 13th at bat since the 17th of August. He had 11 at bats down the stretch from the 17th of August on. Hit 165. He's a career 167 hitter against Randy Johnson. To the left side, Williams. Counsell, inning over. No magic in that Sojo bat tonight. The 5-4-3 double play to end the top of the 8th. The reaction from Johnson. The reaction from Schilling. Bottom of the 8th, Game 2, 4-0 Arizona. Randy Johnson first up here in the bottom of the 8th inning. We just heard from Randy Johnson about his desire to finish every game he starts. For reassurance, his manager Bob Brenly, after the top of this 8th, had this question for him.
You want to finish this one? Yeah. Atta baby. Go up there and get us a knock. Come on. He's first up.
As if he didn't know the answer. Mike Stanton takes over for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 8th. Stanton worked in last night's game. Pitched 1 perfect inning. So far this postseason, not a lot of work. A record of 1-0. Johnson 0 for 2 at the plate. Ball 1 from Stanton.
Mike Stanton has very short fingers, and he's only been throwing the splitter for about 3 years. So in an effort to stretch out his fingers, he will start with the ball in his bare hand with the splitter grip. He does that to stretch the index finger and the middle finger out, but changes it when he goes in the mitt.
Johnson puts it in play. 1 out. And Randy Johnson ought to get a nice ovation heading back to the dugout after that ground out, the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. So far for Johnson, a 3-hit shutout. One out. Here's Womack. Randy Johnson threw a 3-hit shutout in game 1 of the NLCS here against Atlanta. And he has 8 in his career. That's during the regular season. So add 1 more in this postseason, a 3-hit shutout against Atlanta. He will take that with him back to the mound in the 9th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike to Womack.
Of course, the Yankees had not scored a run, but that double play ball hit to Scott Brocious in the bottom of the 7th inning. The ramifications of that, they don't complete the double play. And then Batista's ball off Andy Pettitte. You don't know what is going to happen if he's pitching from the windup. But with Derek Jeter not protecting at second base, not cheating towards second to make the double play, perhaps Jeter could have fielded that ball. And then Andy Pettitte and the Yankees are out of the inning. It's still a 1-0 ball game. But that was, you mentioned it, Joe, the last half inning. That was a key play in this ball game. Scott Brocious unable to turn the double play.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Womack. 1 out, nobody on, and now 2-2. It cost the Yankees at least 1 run with Sanders reaching, and who knows what the inning would have brought with 2 out, nobody on. Counsell waits to hit next.
You get the double play, you're not pitching under duress.
Here's a 2-2 to Womack. To the right side. 3 hops to Soriano. 2 out.
Here's what we were talking about. Nobody out. Hard hit ball to Brocious. Momentary bobble. High throw by Soriano. And now the base hit off Andy Pettitte's right leg. Set it up for the home run by Matt Williams.
A 3-run shot to make it 4-0. Bob Brenly has stayed with Matt Williams in this postseason. Talked about how the fans here were booing Williams during the division series. Bob Brenly staying with him over at third. He doesn't have the range that he once had, but he still has the hands. And not only does he have the home run in this game, but he has been busy and he has played flawless defense behind the pitching of Randy Johnson. Counsell hitless tonight. Matt Williams, a player who as a minor leaguer learned how to field ground balls by strapping ping pong paddles to his hands, receiving ground balls to soften the hands, give with the ground ball, and it's turned him into a 4-time Gold Glove award-winning infielder.
He signed as a shortstop off the campus of UNLV.
2 out, nobody on, no balls, 1 strike. Counsell takes ball 1 from Stanton in the 9th inning. It'll be the top of the order for Randy Johnson. Knobloch, Velarde, and Jeter. If anybody gets on, Bernie Williams. By the way, with a home run, Matt Williams becomes the first player to hit a home run in the World Series with 3 different teams. 89 with the Giants, 97 with Cleveland, and then the 3-run shot here in the 7th inning tonight for Arizona. A 1-1 to Counsell. 2 balls and a strike from Stanton.
Your comments about Matt Williams brings a curious thought of what ping pong players do to get ready for ping pong games.
Old baseball gloves.
Yeah, right. Makes sense.
2 balls and a strike on Counsell. Struck out twice and grounded out. Slicing down the left field line. Knobloch is not going to be able to get there. Foul, 2-2. First time we've called Knobloch's name all night. Bernie Williams hasn't made a catch in center. And Spencer has not made a catch in right. The Game 3 starters, Brian Anderson and Roger Clemens. First start in the World Series for Brian Anderson, but he was busy for Cleveland back in '97 in the World Series against Florida. That's Game 3 of the World Series, Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Fox. Catchable for Knobloch, and the Diamondbacks go in order in the 8th. Bob Brenly asked Randy Johnson if he wanted to finish this one. He'll get his chance. 9th inning, 4-0 Arizona. Randy Johnson will try to throw the complete game. Right now, a 3-hit shutout. He'll face the top of the lineup for the Yankees. Last complete game shutout, the '93 World Series. Game 5, Curt Schilling doing it for Philadelphia against Toronto. His rotation partner, Randy Johnson, trying to throw one here tonight. Knobloch is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. He's flied to left. He's popped up on the infield, and he takes a strike. The last complete game 3-hit shutout in World Series play, Orel Hershiser, Game 2 of the 1988 World Series, a 6-0 win over Oakland. The 0-1 into right field, Reggie Sanders. 1 out.
Only the 103rd pitch of the evening. Jerry Colangelo, the managing general partner of the Diamondbacks, happy for 2 deals that he made. One, a trade for Curt Schilling last year, and the signing of Randy Johnson as a free agent 3 years ago.
Here is Randy Velarde, hitless plus a walk. Strike 1. If the Diamondbacks win this game, and again coming up after the game, late local news except on the West Coast, the questions then will be, how will Arizona fare when they go to New York, when they play in the Bronx, when they play at Yankee Stadium? And how will the Yankees respond if they're down 2 games to none? We saw how they did that against Oakland in the division series in a best-of-5 series. They won 3 in a row. Then they took care of the Seattle Mariners, a team that won 116 games during the regular season. Now they're on the verge of being down 2 games to none to the Diamondbacks. Still 0-2 on Velarde.
We also saw them do it in the World Series, their first of 4 in 5 years, against the Atlanta Braves in 1996, losing the first 2 games at Yankee Stadium and then coming back and beating the Braves 4 in a row, 3 down there and the clincher at Yankee Stadium.
Randy Johnson has allowed 3 singles, 1 walk. He struck out 10. Two out.
Bob Brenly asked Randy Johnson if he wanted to finish. Well, he's 1 out away.
Velarde in the lineup because of his success in years gone by against Johnson. 0 for 3. Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson, when they're not pitching, always sitting side by side in the Diamondbacks dugout. Schilling won last night with 7 strong innings. Randy Johnson 1 out away from a 3-hit shutout in Game 2. Derek Jeter. We will attempt to stay here for interviews after this game as Jeter takes ball 1. The Yankees, winners of 38 American League pennants, winners of 26 World Championships, 3 in a row, 4 of the last 5, taking on the Diamondbacks, a franchise in their 4th year of existence, but anchored by a tandem of Schilling and Johnson that some compare to Drysdale and Koufax. Came on the air talking about the old and the new. The old being the Yankees, the new being the Diamondbacks, and the new 1 out away from going up 2-0. The ball gets loose on the playing field, so Johnson steps off.
Randy Johnson, you have to believe, is asking himself, how many more chances will I have? His first World Series at age 38.
His 111th pitch of the night is his last. Diamondbacks win it 4-0. They're up 2-0. The Arizona Diamondbacks, boasting the best pitching tandem in the game, turned to Schilling in Game 1. 7 innings, 1 run, 3 hits. They turned to Randy Johnson in Game 2. 9 innings, no runs on 3 hits. Some thought that Bob Brenly should hold Randy Johnson for Game 3 at Yankee Stadium. He wanted to go with his 2 best. Here in Games 1 and 2, he goes to Johnson tonight. That worked, and we go to Jeannie Zelasco down on the field.
And thank you, Joe. Yes, I am with Randy Johnson. I know Curt Schilling gave you a 1-0 lead in this series, took some of the pressure off, but truly from the beginning, you seemed focused. This is a World Series game, and it didn't seem to faze you.
Well, I also knew that we weren't going to probably get 9 runs today either, so I knew that I was going to have to pitch a good game, especially against Andy Pettitte.
11 strikeouts, 11 ground ball outs. I can go on here. A complete game shutout. It seemed the better Andy Pettitte pitched, the better you pitched.
Well, he's been here a lot more than I have been. He's been more successful in postseason than I have been. They got me a run early, and I just had to preserve it.
You got the fastball working early. You were getting the calls at the plate. Was there a moment at all that you could relax out there?
I'm sorry?
A moment at all that you could relax out there?
Yeah, after Matty hit the 3-run home run. A little bit of breathing room out there.
Did you use Moyer's cheat sheet at all? Did he help you? Did you use Jamie Moyer's cheat sheet at all? His scouting report?
I threw a few change-ups tonight, yeah. Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Of course, a win-win situation for Brenly, guys, because he gets 2 W's on the board, and Randy Johnson just over 100 pitches. Joe?
But we know, we said it last night, we'll say it again, the Yankees will not panic, and they are anxious to get back to New York and Yankee Stadium. But tonight, it was Arizona, it was Randy Johnson, all 11 strikeouts.
Knobloch and Jeter, Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, Soriano, Roches, Pettit, Spencer, Soriano, Roches, sound familiar? Velarde.
Final pitch of the night, soft line drive to second, and the game was over. 111 pitches on the night, a 4-0, 3-hit shutout win for the Arizona Diamondbacks and Randy Johnson. We'll take a break, come back in a moment. Arizona up 2-0.